How did they get famous?
It goes down in the Buckeye State.
He knows how to punch. They got famous first. This is what's interesting. They got famous first, and then it turns out they can fight. Especially Jake. That kid can knock people the fuck out. He knows how to punch.
Can he knock fighters out, though?
Well, we don't know. I mean, we saw Askren, right? But Askren, first of all, coming off of a hip replacement surgery, was like, it's a brilliant move, right? You get a guy who's arguably the worst striker in
worst striker coming off hip replacement surgery, out of shape.
Elite MMA, which is Ben Askren.
Right,
and that's no disrespect to Ben Askren. He'd probably admit to that. Phenomenal wrestler,
right?
Phenomenal wrestler, like elite wrestler.
Why doesn't he ever fight boxers?
Great guy. Not a good striker. You make him box. It's like the worst thing that he does. And then Jake Paul starches him with one punch. But you looked at his body. He looked severely out of shape. It looked like he hadn't trained for a long time and then kind of got in good enough shape so he could compete. The guy knows how to fight and knows how to win, but that's not his sport. It's not his sport at all. He just took a paycheck.
I'd like to see this guy, Jake Paul, fight someone.
He's going to fight Tyron Woodley.
Well, after he fight, can Tyron Woodley fight? Can he box?
Well, I know he can punch. He punches really hard, but he doesn't punch like a boxer. He throws big bombs and sets up takedowns, and he can crack though. With one shot, he could f anybody up. But the thing is, like, the way he throws shots, he'll throw like a bomb and then set up a takedown or set up a clinch. He's not a guy who's like going out there with peekaboo style, throwing jabs and hooks to the body. That's not his style. He's never been a guy who boxed. He's been a guy who uses boxing in MMA, but he uses everything.
Does Jake Paul beat him, you think?
Oh, we won't know until they get in there. The thing about it is he'll be the most dangerous guy that Jake's fought for sure.
If Jake Paul...
Not even close. Not even close. And no one more dangerous than Tyron Woodley.
All right, well, if he beats an MMA fighter... Because
Tyron's not just an MMA fighter. Tyron is he's a UFC world champion and one of the best welterweights of all time. If you looked at all the UFC welterweights of all time, he's top 3. He's fucking phenomenal.
But there is something fundamentally different about MMA fighters fighting a boxer.
Yeah, because there's other stuff.
I really hope he's been training, dude. Like, you can't lose, dude. You can't lose to Jake Paul, man.
That you incorporate into your movement, right? You're worried about leg kicks. You're worried about takedown defense. You're worried about all these different things. So you have all these different variables on your plate. Now you remove all those variables. You give Tyron a pair of shoes and you just let him punch. He punches really fucking hard. And when he doesn't have to worry about wrestling, he doesn't have to worry about getting as tired, and he can pick his shots, he'll be the most dangerous guy that Jake Paul's ever fought, for sure. But it doesn't necessarily mean that he wins. And I think Jake Paul can box. If you look at that Nate Robinson fight, I know Nate Robinson didn't know what he was doing, but the way he landed those punches, he cracked him and knocked him out moving backwards. He can move backwards and then plant. So he doesn't have like big wind up movements. Like his brother has more wind up shots. His brother was throwing more windmill-y type arm punches. Jake throws things straight and hard. They're dangerous, much more dangerous.
Here's why I have more respect for the older brother for what he just did. Yes, he outweighed him by 40 pounds, but he got in there.
Yeah, he got him with fucking the greatest boxing legend of all time. Not a fucking, not an MMA fighter on a downward spiral on his career or stalling on his career or anything like that. Doesn't matter. The pound difference doesn't matter, dude. It's Floyd Mayweather. You guys are crazy.
There with perhaps the best fighter to ever get in a ring. I'd love to see how Jake Paul fares against someone similar in size that is a boxer.
Yeah. Well, you know what, man? He's only got a couple of fights. Here's how you have to look at him. Look at him like any other guy who only has a couple of fights. If you saw a guy who's coming up and he didn't have an amateur career and he's only had a couple of fights, you'd go, man, he's got some promise.
Yeah, no, but these guys aren't in it for are they in it for the long haul to become boxers?
Jake says he is.
They're in it to become spectacles.
But imagine if this guy gets all the way up to a world title fight. Imagine if he actually works his way through some professional boxers.
That would be remarkable, wouldn't it?
It wouldn't just be remarkable. The money he'll be able to earn.
Well, how about fighting a recently retired? You know who would fuck him up right now?
Are you saying Andre Ward?
Andre Ward. Well, even because he can't fight. Andre can't fight professionally anymore because He's had some physical problems. But Andre's still in shape. He's recently retired. Maybe he'll get mad.
Are you trying to set something up? Look at you
I
looking
know.
away. You're like the worst poker player ever. He's like, well, maybe.
I just know. I know. Look, that's my brother. I mean, I know that he's like.
Has he thought about it?
He's thought about it. You're right. A lot of money was put on the table for him to fight Canelo.
I don't think he would fight a boxer. Like, I just don't think that he would fight a boxer. Everything he's done so far implies that he's not really interested in fighting a fucking boxer.
And we still get, James and I still get asked about it, and he has that stick-to-itness.
But why would he be willing to fight Jake Paul then?
Because I think it's, in his mind, it's an exhibition, and I don't think that he looks at it as even a remote threat, that it could tarnish his legacy or that he would have to expend too much physically. I think that he probably is sitting back looking at this and like, you know what? I could now secure not just my children's, but my great-grandchildren's futures. And I could, I think that there's a part of Andre, if you know him well, everything that I've set aside, he's got some dog up in him. If you ever watch his fights, if he gets hit, you'll see him, now I'm going to get you 4 times. He is a mean SOB in the ring. And I think that there's a...
I wish you could cover crypto with half the nuance and respect you cover celebrity boxing Gambo events. Yeah, the difference is celebrity boxing Gambo people are not fucking annoying like the crypto people. That's the difference. I would go so far as say the more annoying aspect of celebrity boxing events is like the crypto shilling that they do. Crypto nerds are not fun to have convos with because they just like, they staple, like Jake Paul or people who enjoy celebrity boxing skeptical matches don't think that like, the Taliban would not have been able to overthrow Kabul so quickly if there was a fucking celebrity boxing match. But crypto nerds certainly routinely make arguments like that. They are the K-pop stans who used to say like, oh, 9/11 wouldn't have happened if you fucking stayed home, drank water, and stan Luna. They're just doing it for crypto. That's the annoying part about it. They're weebs. They could never shut the fuck up. Okay? Celebrity boxing, guys. It's a spectacle. They understand it. It's entertainment. They see the top of the hour ad breaks and they think to themselves, yeah, I mean, I already have a way to avoid the ad break. Like I already have a subscription, a $5 a month subscription, or I already have a Twitch Prime subscription that I've used here, which is free. So it's not a big deal to me. Like I will not see the ads. You, a crypto nerd, you're seething. You're like, no, I used all my money on crypto, so I don't have a Twitch Prime. And no, I will not. I only use VPNs to fucking, I don't know, do crypto transactions or something. Like you don't use it to avoid the ad breaks. But here's the ad break now.
Part of him that sees this and is like, these guys need to be put in their place, and I could do it pretty easily.
But do you think that Jake Paul would be willing to fight a guy like Andre Ward, Olympic gold medalist, multiple division world champion, undefeated fighter?
No.
Who's still young?
No.
I mean, how old is Andre? 35?
Yeah, just turned 35.
Yeah.
36.
He's still in the prime of his athletic career, or close enough to it.
But he's a little banged up physically. He basically,
You trying to sell this fight?
No,
That's what it seems like to me.
Not trying to sell it.
Seems like you're trying to.
I would love for the guy. I would love for Jake Paul to be like, you know what? I'll take that on. So in that, but in my mind, it's like that would never happen. The guy's very risk averse.
I don't know about that. I mean, Tyron's a risk. Tyron Woodley's a real risk, and he's also offering to bet Tyron his purse. He said he'll donate Tyron's purse to charity.
I noticed that. Tyron did not take him up on that.
Yeah, not good. Yeah, I mean that's a.
I noticed that. I said Tyron is just saying, I'm not saying anything.
I think Tyron needs that money.
Yeah.
I think he's planning 100% on that money, and if he were to lose the fight, it's not good.
Yeah.
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 So I think he's the biggest threat, though. That
Hey,
Jake
listen.
has fought. He can knock him out, and I think he's got a legitimate shot at hurting him. I mean,
There's something.
It's hard, man. I have a question for you. What do
Someone said, so this dude is a racist and sexual assaulter. Please don't buy this fight. Yeah, dude, that was going to stop me from not purchasing this fight. Yeah, one, no shit. Two, why would I ever buy this? Are you fucking stupid? I mean, of course I would buy it. Are you kidding me? I would obviously buy it and consume this by, you know, watching it on pay-per-view. On Showtime. Which I love doing. I love buying pay-per-views. I love buying a pay-per-view at the pay-per-view store. Where they sell pay-per-views. Hashtag ad. Please buy the pay-per-view. Where you pay once per one view? Yes, of course. Yeah, one time I had friends over and we bought a pay-per-view and I made them buy it over and over again in an effort to make sure that, you know, everyone was watching it on their own.
you make of all of these exhibitions have like caught fire? I don't know if it's because of COVID that people began like thinking, well, if I gotta watch something, I'll watch anything.
Yeah.
And then they watch, and you know, Tyson and Lennox are now talking about an exhibition that might happen.
These Paul brothers, Logan and Jake,
Yeah, they're
they're
doing their
making
thing,
some
right?
big money moves. They're
My
making
God.
a lot of money. And they got everybody talking about it, including us.
If you really know how I get down, you know how to play games.
Oh, you know, I really get down too.
Well, you just said your boy's gonna win, but you won't bet on it.
I was verified.
Yo, homie, can you send me the link to the fight tomorrow? The links you sent are the best quality? That's a fucking lie. I've literally